Around about this time last year, I predicted 5 countries to watch out for at Eurovision 2023. And if you haven't watched it already, well, let's just say I could become the netta of predicting which countries to watch out for, with the 5 countries I predicted either not qualifying or not making the top 10 at Eurovision 2023. So, I have a lot to make up for this time around. Word of caution though, continue watching with a pinch of salt, because obviously we don't know any of the songs taking part so far. But yes, it's now time for my 5 countries to look out for at Eurovision 2024, and here is the first one. Of course it's going to be Luxembourg, although Cian Lawford hoped I wouldn't pick this nation due to me not quite getting it right for 2023 and perhaps putting some kind of curse on the countries I chose. Sorry Cian, but it must be Luxembourg. At the start of Eurovision 2023, Graham Norton announced that Luxembourg will be returning to the contest after what would be 31 years since their last entry in 1993. Luxembourg were one of the original nations at the inaugural contest in 1956, although without having participated in all this time, the Grand Duchy still has a distinguished record at Eurovision with 5 wins. One might wonder why they ever left in the first place. Well, such was the rules in 1993. It meant the bottom 6 nations would be relegated for 1 year, meaning Luxembourg would sit out the 1994 contest with the intention they would return to Eurovision 1995. Not quite what happened, but there's no room to be talking anymore about the past when I am in fact looking forward to 2024. What can we expect from Luxembourg in Malmo 2024? Well, Prime Minister of Luxembourg Xavier Bettel means business, and it looks like Luxembourg will come back with a bang rather than a whimper. A national final is set to take place on 27th of January 2024, and there has certainly been a lot of interest garnered from this one-time powerhouse returning. Luxembourg had been previously known for sending female soloists with power ballads, and I have a feeling this tried and tested formula will be repeated at Eurovision 2024. Expect passion, power, great staging, a very warm welcome with lots of mentions that they're back after a long time, and I believe we will see a fantastic result for Luxembourg at Eurovision 2024. A win? Well, without hearing the songs it's hard to say, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a top 5 finish. Okay, I'm aware I predicted Denmark for 2023, but I am putting my money where my mouth is once again, saying that Denmark is a country to look out for at Eurovision 2024. Why? Well, if not qualifying for the final since 2019 isn't enough of a push in the right direction, the contest being held in Sweden, and more specifically Malmo, should be. Of the times that Denmark have taken part at a Swedish-produced Eurovision, it has been all or nothing really. But fear not, because with a lot of us Eurovision fans already booked Copenhagen to locate ourselves during Eurovision week as opposed to Malmo, the 2024 Eurovision is going to have more than a hint of Danish through it. The last time the contest was held in Malmo back in 2013, Emily de Forest won of course, and back in Stockholm at the 2000 Eurovision, the Olsen brothers won with the rousing Fly on the Wings of Love. I'm not sure whether it's neighbourly rivalry or what it might be, but the Danes usually go to a Swedish hosted contest with vigour, and if ever they needed a renewed vigour, it's most definitely now. What style of song could we see? I would say K-pop and 80s sounding melodies is unlikely. We might see something a bit more traditional coming from Denmark in 2024. Prepare for something with a punch though. The Danes do best when they stick to what they're good at, with styles like indie or Britpop inspired melodies doing very well for them, if we think of the likes of New Tomorrow as one recent-ish example. Perhaps we might have a Celtic-infused sound or nod to the Vikings akin to Rasmussen. One word of caution though amongst this optimism. The last time Sweden hosted the contest in 2016, Lighthouse X didn't make the grand final, But with Denmark having hosted in 2014, it was just 2 years later, and perhaps DR were okay with not winning so soon after the way they hosted so fantastic in 2014. Also, Eurovision 2016 was held in Stockholm, so all is good. With Sweden, Finland and Norway all doing fantastic at Eurovision 2023, placing 1st, 2nd and 5th respectively, the Danes need to up the ante, and I don't mean anti-social media, which I love by the way. It would be 5 years since we have seen Denmark at the grand final when it rolls around to May 2024, so all is to play for. I fully expect Denmark to have dusted themselves off from recent disappointments and return to Eurovision 2024 with optimism and, crucially, a great song. When they arrived at the contest in 2008, Azerbaijan didn't take too much time to win, doing so on their 4th attempt in 2011. But after a promising start, the last few years haven't been great for the nation. You have to go back to the contest in 2013 for the last time Azerbaijan finished on the podium with 2nd place. I wonder which city in Sweden hosted that year. Just 1 year later though, Azerbaijan languished behind most of the competition, limping home into 22nd place. Azerbaijan is a nation that seemed to take risks in either style of song or staging, and sometimes both, but haven't been rewarded of late. Indeed, at Eurovision 2023, Turan X failed to qualify with the Beatles-inspired Tell Me More, and although Azerbaijan were one of the 7 nations embroiled in the voting scandal of Eurovision 2022, Nadir, I feel, was extremely unfortunate to place where he did at the contest, and I considered him to be one of the best male vocalists of that entire contest. Even Effendi with the super catchy Matahari struggled in the end and placed 20th at the Rotterdam hosted contest in 2021. So what's gone wrong? Personally, I feel in recent years Azerbaijan is trying extra hard for success, and whilst that can be a positive thing, it can often come across to us the viewers and fans alike as a bit on the desperate side. I think that was very evident at Liverpool 23. I think Turan X are incredibly likeable as a duo, but the Beatles-esque song seemed a bit contrived and failed to qualify for the final, of course. Azerbaijan do best when they stick to their traditional sound. Their 2nd entry at the 2009 contest was an up-tempo ethnic fusion and gave them bronze. The past couple of years have seen Azerbaijan send slower-paced songs, albeit vocally powerful, and rock performances from Nadir in 2022, but in 2024 I fully expect Azerbaijan to travel to Malmo with an up-tempo, high-energy ethnic sound performed by a female soloist or female group. Expect pyros, dancing and an exhilarating performance. They might of course send a dramatic ballad akin to Farid's Hold Me, which, as I've already mentioned, placed 2nd. Whatever the style, I would be surprised if Azerbaijan don't land a top 10 position at least. The land of fire, I think, will be on fire in Malmo. I have to hold my hands up and tell you that Greece is one of my favourite nations at Eurovision, so I might be accused of being biased. However, I didn't have Greece as one to watch in 2023, so there. 2024 will mark 19 years since Greece had their first and so far only win to date. It's easy to forget it's been that long from Helena Paparizou stormed the victory in Kiev. Making their debut in 1974, it's fair to say that Greece was somewhat overlooked at the contest, with a couple of 5th places, their best results up until Antique placed 3rd at the 2001 contest in Copenhagen. With a 3rd place in 2004, a win in 2005 and then a 3rd place in 2008, things haven't been brilliant for Greece since then. So why, you might be asking, am I thinking Greece are a nation to look out for in 2024, especially when ERT may not have a lot of financial resources? Well, let me tell you, nothing spurs a country on like a few poor results. Whilst Amanda Tedgeworth placed 10th at Eurovision 2022, I felt really sorry for Victor, who despite having a lot of energy and huge likability factor, failed to make it to the final at Eurovision 2023. Greece, like Azerbaijan, tend to do better when they send a style of song that sounds typically Greek, and I for one love those Aegean and Mediterranean sounds, and I think that is exactly what Greece will bring to Eurovision 2024. Can it be enough to secure a top 10 finish though? I really do hope so, and I for one would be more than happy to see that happen, and I think I'm justified in choosing Greece as one to watch out for at Eurovision 2024. So that's 4 down and 1 to go. Who could it be? Well, here it comes. Yes, I know, I picked Spain last year as well, but hold on a wee minute till I explain. Inez at Benidorm Fest 2023 stated that Spain got bronze at Eurovision 2022 and were going for gold at the 2023 contest. Well, Blanca Paloma didn't quite get gold, finishing reasonably with the juries, but with just 5 points from the public, Blanca finished up in 17th place overall. That must have been incredibly upsetting for RTVE and the Spaniards as a whole. Benidorm Fest is definitely the right route to go in selecting their entry, I think, and although Blanca Paloma didn't get a podium finish, I don't think Chanel's 3rd place at Eurovision 2022 is a flash in the pan. Agony would most definitely have been the best choice for Spain at Liverpool, and I am confident in saying he would have placed in the top 5. Spain needs something akin to Agony and Chanel's offerings to be in with a realistic chance of winning the contest. What I hope doesn't happen in Spain is that this overzealous attitude towards winning Eurovision, which can come across a bit desperate. The international public seem to gravitate towards songs like Slow Mo and Quiero Arder, and if the Spaniards can hold their nerve for 2024 and not send something too flamenco inspired, they are most definitely going to be worth watching out for in Malmo. I think it's also worth noting that Sweden are probably going to be worthy of looking out for next year as well, but isn't that every year of late? So there you have it. What do you think? Which 5, yes 5 countries, do you think are worth looking out for in Malmo, and why? Remember to let me know in the comments below. I look forward as always to reading those comments, but until next time, you take care and see you all soon.